Hi, my name is Vladimir, last name Matyushenko. They also call me Janitor.
Getting ready to enter the cage, Vladimir Matyushenko, 28 years old.
And now introducing his opponent, fighting out of the red corner. This man is a mixed martial artist holding a professional record, 26 wins, 5 losses, 76 feet tall, weighing in at 205 pounds. Fighting out of El Segundo, California, Vladimir the Janitor Matyushenko.
Originally, I come from Belarus. Back then, it was a Soviet Union. Now it's a separate country. But I've been in the United States living for over 30 years. I've been doing freestyle wrestling, college wrestling, also MMA starting in '97. So I was a professional MMA fighter all the way to 2012. And also been coach and referee and judge. So all of the above, that's where I am. My proudest moment and accomplishment is I'm still alive. I'm still semi-healthy. Also, it's coming every day. My proudest moment of me understanding more and more of MMA. My proudest moment is be able to see my opponents or previous opponents, despite I win or lose, and learn from them and be happy for them and fall in love with MMA again and again. That's my proudest moment. My favorite technique as right now, as I'm a veteran of MMA considered me, is to be able to put all those techniques together. Striking, wrestling, grappling. To me now it's all the same, it's just different spectrum of colors. Be able to breathe correctly as you're doing those techniques. Defense smoothly turn into offense and offense smoothly to the defense. My motto is now is as not a surprise, slow is smooth, smooth is fast. My connection with Dynamix is I met Anthony Hardunk in 2006, 2007, which is make it 20 years from now, 20 years ago. And we met as he's coming up to MMA from kickboxing and a Dutch style kind of heavyweight guys kickboxing. And I was coming back from wrestling. I already did MMA and we kind of help each other and incorporate each other's technique. And then again, he's one of the first people from different background. Find myself, it's all the same, striking and wrestling. Wrestling is striking if you do it correctly. And since then we become teammates, if I'll call soulmates. Sometimes we disagree on certain things, but we spend sometimes together as roommates on the travel and we corner some guys. We go to Vegas, participate in UFC events. And when he opened a gym, I've been part of the gym since then. Favorite fighter? As to me personally, again, I don't have favorites. I don't like to watch sports for entertainment, including MMA. But as a veteran, as a coach, and as a referee and judge, I learned how to enjoy other people fighting. And it varies from time to time. If John Jones will fight soon, he will be my favorite fighter. But for some reason, getting paid or not, he's not. So I still like to see, Islam Makhachev, Khabib used to be, because again, I rediscovered wrestling, how to do it correctly, basic wrestling, and from there you can branch out, you can do whatever you want. I like Volkanovski fight, I like Pereira fight, even if he's not a wrestler, he's a kickboxer, but Alex Pereira, he's a good wrestler, if you won't be surprised, because so far nobody can take him down. So those guys I like, not just because they're so cool and so look awesome, but I can learn from it and I can explain them to my students and to myself. It's really explains to me and I want to understand, I can try to explain to somebody else. So those are my favorite fighters. My advice to anybody who's starting this thing is like riding a motorcycle or bicycles. If you don't do it right, you can get hurt. So do learn a lot of basic stuff so you don't get hurt, and you prolong yourself, your training, and learn enough to have basic skills. Then you can learn from anybody, from your opponent, from your, from your grandma, from your kids, from little animals and whatever. But learn how to learn, and not trying to win an early stage, because that win makes you actually give you wrong idea. But learn how to learn and how to discover and stay healthy in this game. You'll be fine, and it's become very much fun. Okay. Me, as right now, I'm 55 years old. My biggest fear is to not be able to deal with my fear and be able to not to respond improperly. Before, I thought not to fear, I have to go straight towards it and fight. And it was completely different. I was completely crazy. People ask me, do you afraid to go fight? It doesn't look like you're afraid at all. I'm like, no, because I'm not. I'm more afraid to be in the locker room by myself, or in my locker in my room. So at the cage, at least I know what I'm doing. But it was not necessarily the proper way to do it. Being afraid not to even look or not even understand what I'm doing, that's scary, because then you find him blind completely. Be able to see every move opponent and read his mind, that's what I'm enjoying right now. I wish I would enjoy when I was fighting. But again, as advice, start reading that, and you can do with meditation, you can do with other stuff, but it does work. Thank you.
Dynamix MMA.